we back on GTV Sports. And if it's your first time, man, I promise you definitely won't be your last. So make sure you kill, murder, and smash that subscribe button. And welcome to GTV Sports, where we cover everything sports. Now let's get right into the video.
The English Premier League is home to the biggest football clubs and the best football players in the world. Over 4 billion football fans tune in every year, and it generates $6 billion in annual revenue. But it wasn't always this way. English football has been through over 100 years of struggles, heartbreaks, success stories, and iconic moments. So, how did the Premier League take over football and become the biggest sports league in the world? This is the entire history of the Premier League. On the 17th of April, 1888, 12 English football clubs came together with one vision in mind. The idea was to create a recognized football league where teams from across the country would fight for glory. And, just like that, the English Football League was born. Preston North End won the first season going unbeaten and went on to win the second season too. I guess this means that in some point in history, the mighty Preston were factually the best club in England. As the years went on, more teams joined the league, which meant the league had to create divisions. And just like that, the football pyramid started to form. The early decades in the English league saw a couple of teams rise to the top. The late 1800s were dominated by Aston Villa. The early 1900s saw Newcastle, Manchester United, and Liverpool all win their first titles. Huddersfield Town had a great run, winning 4 in a row. And just before the Second World War, Arsenal took charge, winning 5 titles in 8 years.
Arsenal's going crazy!
Football came to a halt in 1939, thanks to the failed Austrian painter in Germany. But football bounced back. The next decade of English football would see one of the most promising football teams ever rise to the top of the world, and then face the greatest tragedy in English football history. Right after the war, Man United appointed a manager who would revolutionize their football club, and his name was Matt Busby. He started to put together a team that would play sexy football, as he focused on younger players and was going against the classic style of English football at the time. This team he put together was nicknamed the Busby Babes. After a couple of second-place finishes, the Busby Babes finally lifted their first league title in 1952, and just a couple seasons later would go on and win the league back-to-back in 1956. And this was all thanks to players like Bobby Charlton, Duncan Edwards, and Tommy Taylor. But just as this team was starting to dominate English football, they would face a tragedy that football had never seen before. In February 1958, Manchester United were traveling home from a European Cup match and needed to stop in Munich to refuel. As the plane was taking off, visibility was very poor, and the pilot couldn't get a clear view of the runway. The plane crashed during takeoff, taking the lives of 8 football players, along with 15 other passengers. This was heartbreaking.
Wow, I've never heard about this before. That's
Manchester United would ever make it back to the top.
That's crazy, bro.
The fall of Manchester United made way for new teams to rise. Wolverhampton Wanderers won 2 titles back-to-back. Burnley picked up a title, and then the mighty Tottenham Hotspurs actually managed to win the league. Now, this title was significant for Spurs, as it was the start of a 40-year dynasty where Spurs won league after league and became England's greatest team. It is what they hoped would happen, but this was actually the last league title Spurs would ever win. Poor Spurs fans. Now, during this period, Liverpool were actually playing in the second division, but in 1959, they appointed Bill Shankly as manager, who would be the catalyst for Liverpool's golden era. They won promotion back to the first division and managed to win the league in 1964. The year after that, something magical happened. Matt Busby was back. He, along with the other survivors of the Munich crash, had rebuilt Manchester United.
That's what's up, yo. That must have took a lot.
They won the Premier League once again, with some old faces like Bobby Charlton and some newer faces like the one and only George Best. The next few years would see Man United and Liverpool go back and forth as the 2 English powerhouses. But in 1968, Manchester United became the first English team to win the European Cup, the tournament which killed half their team a decade earlier. Now that's a comeback story. Matt Busby became Sir Matt Busby, and he stepped down from his position as Man United manager. Liverpool took this opportunity and they took over. They won 11 league titles in the next 20 years, thanks to players like Kevin Keegan, Kenny Dalglish, Graham Souness, and Ian Rush, just to name a few. English teams dominated Europe in the late 1970s and early 80s, where for 6 seasons straight, the European Cup went to an English team. Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, and Aston Villa all managed to lift the trophy in this period. Now, as the 80s came to an end, quite a few things happened that were pivotal in shaping the future of English football. Gary Lineker began his career, and he would go on to become one of England's greatest ever strikers. Paul Gascoigne would also make his debut and go on to become a cult hero because of the incredible flair and skill in his style. Then, a young manager named Alex Ferguson signed for Manchester United, who you're going to hear a lot more about soon. Oh, and last but not least, the English Football League was transformed into the English Premier League. Now, you might be asking, why did they form the Premier League? And to sum it up, this formation of the Premier League was spearheaded by the big 5 clubs at the time: Everton, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Spurs, who wanted to bring more money into English football. And that's exactly what they did. A system where all clubs would get more commercial access, and they would sell off TV rights to the highest bidders. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk football. Alex Ferguson won the first Premier League season, ending Manchester United's 26-year drought. Alan Shearer made the move to Newcastle United from Blackburn Rovers, as he was ready to announce himself as the best striker in the Premier League. These early Premier League years were dominated by Man United, as they won 4 out of the first 5 Premier League titles. Football sweetheart Roy Keane made the move to Manchester United, where he would soon be known.
Like, they have one of the illest legacies within the Premier League history.
In the 94-95 season, Blackburn Rovers won the league on the last day of the season, as Man United failed to win their final game. This gave Alan Shearer his only Premier League title, which he well and truly deserved. Man was literally a goal machine. This season also saw Edward Cantona Kung Fu kick a fan, which resulted him in receiving an 8-month ban from football.
He bugged!
Ferguson's time at Man United is his love for young players. And going into the 95-96 season, he had a group of young players known as the Class of 92. Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Nicky Butt, Gary Neville, and Phil Neville had all made their debuts leading up to this, but this season saw them really cement themselves in the first team. Ferguson knew the talent these kids had, and he put all his faith in them. This came with a lot of criticism, most notably from Liverpool legend Alan Hansen, who on the first day of the season told Alex Ferguson, "You can't win anything with kids."
You can't win anything with kids.
And he was proved so very wrong.
Yeah.
His kids became stars as Man
United boy too.
League title. An iconic halfway line goal for Beckham further cemented him as a superstar. At this same time, Dennis Bergkamp arrived at Arsenal, and the season after, Arsene Wenger followed suit, as Arsenal were getting fed up of this Man United domination, and they were ready to revolt. Arsene Wenger won the Premier League in his first full season in charge of Arsenal. They beat Man United to the title by a single point, thanks to a 1-0 victory at Old Trafford. Finally, there was a rival to Ferguson's United, making for some thrilling matches between them. Now, roll on the 98-99 season, and Man United were back with a vengeance. A Premier League, an FA Cup, and a Champions League in the most dramatic
this is the 99 treble. Yeah, that's a crazy ass way to score a goal to pluck off the ceiling.
Manchester United won the treble, and Ferguson summed it up best. Man United took this momentum into the next 2 seasons, winning the league again and again, beating out Arsenal twice more.
Nah, they was going stupid.
Baby treble, consisting of the FA Cup, League Cup, and UEFA Cup. Leeds United reached the Champions League semi-final and then got relegated a couple of seasons after that. Man also got relegated, which would be the last relegation they would ever face. And at this time, Arsenal were cooking.
Wow, they got relegated before.
Might have heard of named Thierry Henry, along with star defender Sol Campbell from their rivals Tottenham Hotspur. Poor Spurs fans. Henry finished as the top scorer in the Premier League as Arsenal won the 2002 title, completing the double that season, which also saw Ferguson announce his retirement. He later
they went crazy throughout this season.
Unfinished business at United, which, looking back, was definitely the right call. The next 2 seasons continued with this back and forth between Man United and Arsenal as they picked up another title each, but Arsenal's title was a bit more significant than United's as they wrote their names in the history books by going the entire season without losing a single game.
No, I didn't even think anybody did that.
It was iconic. Henry scored 30 Premier League
goals
and the title at White Hart Lane against Tottenham Hotspur.
But Arsenal's golden, bro. They went undefeated.
Spurs fans. But at this time, the Premier League was changing. David Beckham left Man United to join the Galacticos in Madrid. United found 2 young replacements in Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney, who would be
they went crazy with their
Chelsea Football Club was bought out by Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich, who started spending silly money on players to get Chelsea to the top of football. And in 2004, one manager would arrive in England that would change the Premier League forever.
Please don't call me arrogant because what I'm saying is true. I think I'm a special one.
Jose
I feel that.
in London, meaning the 2-team league had a new challenger in town. Chelsea were ready to take over, and that's exactly what they did. Drogba signed for Chelsea in the summer of 2004, joining Jose Mourinho as they would go on to dominate their first season. They smashed the Premier League points record with a total of 95 points. But what's even more impressive than that is that Chelsea only conceded 15 goals in the entire 30-game season. That is a record that will probably never be broken.
Yeah, I'm like, that's impressive.
The quality Chelsea had at the back with the likes of Terry and Carvalho. Arsenal's invincible streak was finally broken by Man United after going 49 games without a loss. This year also saw Liverpool complete the greatest comeback in Champions League history. They were 3 goals down in the first half. Heroic second half comeback saw Liverpool and Steven Gerrard lift the Champions League trophy. At this point, the Premier League had started to form the Big Four, being made up of Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, and Liverpool, as these teams were clearly a cut above the rest and would consistently finish in the top 4 spots in the years that followed. Chelsea won the league once more in the following season, and Arsenal would make the move.
Yo, shout out to that Russian dude that bought Chelsea. Yo. He actually did the right thing with the money.
The biggest clubs in the world.
And they're still good now.
As I'm sure you know by now, that didn't really go to plan. Now, heading into the 06-07 season, Ferguson and Man United had gone 3 seasons straight without a title. This was his longest ever drought since the Premier League began, but he had slowly been building a super team that would go on to win 3 leagues in a row. This United team had it all. Rooney and Ronaldo up front, Vidic and Ferdinand at the back. The experience of the class of 92 is still around, with Neville, Giggs, and Scholes playing key roles in the team. They simply weren't messing about. Manchester United also picked up the 2008 Champions League title as Ronaldo took home his first Ballon d'Or, proving he was the best player in the world. After this three-peat, Ronaldo left United for a world record fee to Real Madrid. Mourinho and Thierry Henry had also left Chelsea and Arsenal, which meant the Premier League had lost some real star power.
Yeah, they must have been sick when they dipped, bro. Think about all those eyes.
Title in 2010, which saw Drogba finish as the top scorer that season. Now, roll on the 2010-2011 season, Manchester United won yet another league title with some dramatic moments throughout the season. This title was significant as it was their 19th English league title. Liverpool had 18 titles, meaning Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, that's really something to Lakers. The titles,
Manchester United were now officially the most successful club in English history, but they wouldn't like what was coming their way because their noisy neighbors had just been bought out by Abu Dhabi investment.
Yes, sir.
About to shake up the entire
Abu
Premier
Dhabi,
League.
brother.
Come on, man.
Manchester City were throwing around money left, right, and center.
And it worked.
Ready to take over.
And for full early access to our Patreon, make sure you click the link in the description below. We have sports movies, sports TV shows, Slam Dunk Baki, 2 to 3 month ahead. And we have our membership only where You guys will have access to exclusive videos that don't drop on YouTube, like Road to Victory, World Cup 1994 and 1998, and much, much more.
Throwbacks.
And today we are here with the history of the Premier League.
In the previous few years, they brought Robinho from Real Madrid, Tevez from Man United, Yaya Toure from Barcelona, Balotelli from Inter, David Silva from Valencia, and Sergio Aguero from Atletico Madrid. They put some team together. The 2011-2012 season was pretty much a two-team race where Man United and Man City battled it out for the entire year. Come the final game of the season, both clubs had the same amount of points, but Man City had a better goal difference. It was a simple task for City: win the last game against QPR and they win the league. United won their final game, but City were heading into extra time a goal behind, meaning that the title was wrapped. But in the most dramatic end to a Premier League season ever, Dzeko made it 2-2, and then
3 points. Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero.
Oh yeah, we literally just seen it, bro, the last video. That dude's one that golden boy.
Finally announced themselves amongst the big clubs, snatching the league right from United's hands. But Ferguson and United would be back for one last hurrah as they signed Van Persie from Arsenal, who was on fire at the time.
I love
Van Persie won their 20th English title. This was it for Sir Alex. He finally called it quits after
I'm out of here.
13 Premier Leagues. He was retiring. Scholes and Giggs followed suit as they also hung up their boots. This was the end of the Manchester United dynasty and the last league title that they would win. Now roll on 2013. Mourinho's back and it's like he never left. Liverpool had also
that guy is one of the best pieces.
Suarez and Gerrard.
Sounds
They were
special.
the title race for the majority of the season, but one famous slip from Gerrard cost them the title, so City won it again. In 2015, Mourinho's Chelsea stormed the league with the help of some players from his first tenure, like Lampard and Terry, and some newer faces like Costa and Hazard. This season also saw Kane announce himself to the Premier League, scoring 21 league goals for Spurs, but this came with a lot of criticism where people thought he was just a one-season wonder. He would go on to prove everyone wrong, scoring over 200 Premier League goals in the seasons that followed. We also saw a couple of new managers join the league in Pochettino and Klopp, who were ready to shake up the Premier League, but nobody, and I mean nobody, could expect what was about to happen in the next season.
Premier League champions 2016.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch that too. We got all this in the playlist.
Relegation favorites Leicester City won the Premier League.
Oh, Leicester City. Who else? Leicester City.
By the skin of their teeth, the odds of Leicester City winning the Premier League were 5,000 to 1. This is undoubtedly the greatest football achievement in the history of the sport.
That's insane.
Mahrez and N'Golo Kante were the gems in this team, who, under the guidance of manager Claudio Ranieri, did the impossible. Jamie Vardy also went on to break the record for scoring in the most consecutive games. That was 11 games in a row. This season also saw a Mourinho sacking and a Spurs push for the title, with the likes of Dele Alli and Harry Kane being the faces of their team. This was simply a fairy tale season that will never be repeated, and not even Leicester could keep up this form because just one season later, they sacked their manager as they were flirting with relegation the entire season. Chelsea won that season with Antonio Conte in charge, but the Premier League was about to change as a new dynasty was just around the corner.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Pep Guardiola landed in Manchester in 2016.
God,
we can consider his first season as a warm-up year because in the 17-18 season, he was definitely fired up. Manchester City blitzed the league, achieving a record-breaking 100 points. This team was simply unstoppable, with the likes of Aguero, De Bruyne, Sterling, Sané, and so many more. Also arrived in the Premier League this season, scoring a record-breaking 32 goals in a single season. This year also saw Liverpool reach the Champions League final, but got their hearts broken at the hands of Real Madrid. Arsene Wenger finally called it quits after a decade of underperforming. And Mourinho was back in the Prem with Manchester United, and it seemed like his best years were behind him. There was a new rivalry coming up. Pep versus Klopp would dominate the next years of the Premier League, taking the title race to the final game of the 18-19 season. Pep edged Klopp out, winning the league by 1 point in 2019. At least Liverpool got their title in the pandemic year. They stormed the Premier League with a team that was just unstoppable. Van Dijk was the key player for them, who really should have won the Ballon d'Or that year. After this season, City turned on the gas once again and won the next 3 titles in a row. In 2021, they had no real challengers, finishing clear above second place Man United. Roll on 2022, and Liverpool were on for the quadruple, but fell short to City yet again by 1 point in the Premier League, and lost the Champions League final yet again to Real Madrid. In the season that followed, Manchester City completed football. Thanks to the help of Erling Haaland, they won the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League, which was the final trophy Pep needed to win at City. Now, a couple of other things happened in this period. Liverpool beat Spurs in the Champions League final in 2020. Poor Spurs fans. Ronaldo returned to United for a year, scored some goals, then moved on to Saudi Arabia, and Newcastle got bought out by Saudi Arabia. They were looking to have the same effect on Newcastle as Abu Dhabi had on City almost 15 years ago. Now, the Premier League is well within the 23-24 season, and the title looks like
another country owns another country.
Yeah, right.
Once again, as Haaland just looks to be getting better and better. But what's for sure is that the Premier League is just getting better, as it has hands down become the best football league in the world.
Facts.
No.
Facts.
No.
You don't know, bro?
Now that we got Mbappe there, we definitely got stars too. Like,
y'all never not had stars. Y'all always have stars.
No, but man, it's the best though. Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea.
Yeah.
The 5 big clubs. And now it was good though, because I really wanted to understand the history of Man City, and now I get it. They were here before, but they got more money put into them way. But whoever has the money gets the big team.
That's all it is. Real talk.
It's like, and the investment was really good to see how it developed from the beginning times, how early teams were, and to even witness the passing, the tragedy. I never seen that before.
Yeah, that's
so it was good. This is a video definitely that was good that we did a reaction to, but it's definitely a video I'm gonna watch again on my own multiple times just to get more to understand more. This video was definitely fire. I love seeing the history and the rivalries. We have a rivalry video soon coming where it explains all the rivalries, but I like how this touched a little bit, and to know how Liverpool got like 18 titles, and then Man United got this much, and they compete. And to see when, like, I wanted to know that when Cristiano Ronaldo and Henry left, like, was it a big? I always wondered, like, was it a big impact when they left the league? And it was like, that's like LeBron to say, I'm out.
Exactly.
I'm going to the
that shit, LeBron, Steph Curry. He'll say, I'm going to another league, yo. I'm going to the Saudi Arabia league, yo.
I wish sports was more like that. That would be way fine. Like, there was mad elite basketball leagues, bro.
Yeah, that people actually watch.
Because some people, like, you'll be able to see more people keep playing. Like, the John Walls, all these people just be playing.
That is true.
It's like with WWF, it's good that it's AEW, because when you can't get there, you go
still have another league, and people still looking at you. Yeah, that's true.
Incredible, like a good, credible league. Because I think there is mad leagues, but it's not really close to the NBA, where Premier League could still be the top, but at least La Liga is close enough.
Yeah.
The German league is close enough where it's respected.
Because NBA right now is talking about doing having the international teams and stuff like that. I don't know how that's gonna work. I feel like it's probably gonna be closer, probably like Mexico type of thing.
Because they kind of do it with the Olympics. It's like the World Cup, and like FIBA is kind of like the Euros.
Yeah.
But I just think they need like a Champions League tournament. Like they need a yearly tournament that teams from around the world compete. I mean, like the Lakers, like you have to have this much record on the Lakers on your NBA team to even qualify, and then you can compete. But I think an NBA people would like it. That could just make extra games. Like NBA, like they should have started doing it earlier on.
I guess you.
Hard to implement that.
Because now you would have to decrease the
or you have to
like
get it where that award is as valuable as the NBA title. That's the only way. Like where somebody would be like, I want to get at least one of those.
But at that point, they could just eliminate that new tournament, the in-season tournament, and just substitute it with that.
The in-season tournament makes sense because there's a lot of in-season like little tournaments like the Community Shield, FA, like
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Southside probably got it in saying, well,
great video,
man. Yeah, I love learning history, man. Swear up, CRT.
Patrick Arte.
And that settles it at
the round table.